Hi. How are you guys doing today? Go ahead and comment if you like. Uh, I'm doing alright. Feeling pretty good. I had a couple glasses of wine for dinner, so, I'm feeling good. Um, I had a question from somebody online. They asked me why I cover my face. I just want my eyes to be the focus point, because I have more expression in my eyes than I do through my mouth. So it's more of a focus thing, and so I just wanted to explain that. He was kind of rude, being kind of condescending, but it's fine. You get those, and you're gonna get those everywhere, and those are the ones that make you doubt yourself. And don't ever doubt yourself. We all make mistakes, and we can fix them. That's what's being human. So today, the poem, it's fairly new. This is after doing research on a bunch of different stuff, and I came up with a concept. It's a little out there, you know. It's got to do with like aliens and like Mesopotamians and how they control us. Um, there's a couple things to pay attention to in there when with the whole concept of R&M, uh, and that's mixed in with it all. Uh, I found people that were experiencing the same thing as I do, like the same exact thing, and I guess it's like a pretty big thing, and I didn't realize it, and I was going around, thinking I'm the only one, but no, there's quite a few people out there experiencing what I'm experiencing, and uh, I didn't know what it was called, and they call it remote neural program or monitoring, and go ahead and look it up. It's a pretty interesting thing. Uh, it's called brain to brain. It's where they don't need any type of chip or anything like that. It's like Bluetooth pretty much, and it's to your brain. And I know some people think that, oh, that's crazy. There's no way. There's something wrong with you. But I've been to the doctor, multiple times, and they told me that there's nothing wrong with you, man. Like what you're hearing isn't schizophrenia. It's not a mental disorder. These are some pretty interesting things that you're hearing. And like it's pretty mind-boggling. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get to it. This is kind of a long one, so um, I named it probably about like 3 or 4 times. So I named it like simulation at first because simulation is kind of like what they do. You know what I mean? They run you through simulations like trigger words, and they make these fake feelings and these words that make you feel a certain way or make you think of something that's not true. And so uh, I put it on as remote neural monitoring dream state. And I'm one of the types that remembers their dreams and can interact in a dream, as in like I do tests when I'm in a dream and I feel like this is kind of weird. I test it. I will try to jump really high or pick something up that's really heavy, or like if you're underwater, take a breath, and believe that you can breathe underwater, it'll work. And then at that point, you can pretty much run it any way you want. So what I've figured out is I was being spoken to in my dreams, and they were telling me some pretty interesting things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with it. So, um, and today I'm a little pausey. I don't know if you can notice, but sometimes I'll stop and think. I call that jaw dropping. And jaw dropping is one of those things that, it's like a side effect. It's like, oh. And that's when they're trying to trigger you and mess up your words and pick the words for you or your decisions for you. So I just want to go ahead and go with it. So life. What's life? It's just a simulation. Mesopotamian creation. Controlling us with fear and deviation. Telling us that they're gods, a mental sedation. Freemason. Evil congregation. Satan's playing PlayStation with our nation. Causing retardation. Life's on repeat for rearranging our atom accumulation. Algorithm. Influences our decision. Walking around like we're driven. It's been this way from the very beginning. Reptilian shapeshifters deal in sin. Centrifugal force without a spin. Just listen. These are the words I was given. Voices in our heads trying to fit in. Another way for them to get in. Stealing our perception. They need to be taught a lesson. That we're not controlled with aggression. Human brains are infested like a parasite ingested. Keeping us guessing. Keeping us in the system with oppression. Investing. Pyramids can heal us, but won't let us in. Using grays like a technician. To work out our glitching. To manipulate people into submission. The stakes have risen. I figured out how to intercept their transmission. To control my belief system. Now they're pissing. I wouldn't be surprised if I come up missing. 'Cause I'm dissing about them slipping. Talking to each other while I act like I'm sleeping. Now I have the power to teach other people to devour. Keep your soul. Get empowered. They're just a coward. They can't touch you, they just get louder. Treating you like a router. Food that's gone sour. The knowledge we know cannot be towered. Plant the seed and watch it flower. They will trigger your subconscious for an hour. Make you feel so wrong you'll want to take a shower. Even though your thoughts are clean. You're just a human being. Pay attention to your dreams. Know how to interpret. It will tell you everything. And know your triggers. That's what either makes you small or bigger. Be a listener. Call them out and be a whistler. They see all your thoughts when you think. They see through your eyes when you blink. They speak about a wobble and the world's going to flip. Play you like a toggle or make you disappear like a photon blip. Cheers your glass and take a sip. If you hear 'em like me, you're on the list. RNM. So, I'm going to go through line to line and kind of explain where my thoughts were when I wrote it. This is one that they're always telling me, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And then when I say I'm going to make a video about it, there's like, don't do that, you know, and then they get crazy and start threatening, saying they're going to kill me, you know, stuff. It's stupid. It's just threats. It's empty, you know, there's no mass to it, you know. So, so first line, life, what's life? It's just a simulation. And I kind of explained that already, you know, our brains work like a computer kind of, you know, it's all electric firing and it's processing pretty much. When it goes through your eyes, it goes through your surface mind to your limbotics, and then to your reptilian, you know, and limbotics kind of choose your decisions, and that's what they're trying to control is your limbotics, and that's your word choosing, and that's why, you know, you get spacey, like, what do I say, or whatever, you know, and your reptilian is the part of your brain where involuntary processes are done, you know, like swallowing or, you know, processing of foods or like going to the bathroom or, you know, heart beating or, you know, all that kind of stuff. The stuff you don't even have to think about, you know. So, Mesopotamian creation. Again, if you don't know who Mesopotamians are, it's an ancient uh, uh, belief. It it's about giants, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen the skulls and bodies or skeletons that they found of like 20, 30 foot tall people, and those are the Mesopotamians. And that's pretty much how they, explain it. Um, and they supposedly created human beings for slaves to mine, precious golds. Maybe that's why gold is so precious, and conductive metals. Um, So, let's see. Controlling us with fear and deviation. So it's fearmonger, and they're deviant. They're out there to get us, pretty much, or see through us. I mean, they can't really get us, but if they can get you to do stuff, that's where they get you. So telling us that they're gods, a mental sedation, and that's, like it makes you want to worship, and maybe that's where religion came from, because a lot of the stuff that the Mesopotamian belief tells is pretty much a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible too, but they kind of made it like more of a human belief system, and there's and what I believe is like the acronym for Bible. If it was an acronym, uh, it would be basic instructions before leaving Earth. And that's pretty much be a good person. Don't do all these bad things that they're trying to influence you, and TV's trying to influence you, and stuff like that. Just get the basic instructions. And I've said this before. Um, I'm not I'm not knocking on anybody's belief whatsoever. If it makes you a good person, then do it. You know, uh, Sometimes you just need that want, or that feels like you're doing something good, or it helps you through your day, or maybe it's someone to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, and it's private stuff, stuff that you don't want to tell anybody else, or maybe you did something wrong and you want to, make up for it or whatever, and that's what you would call a repent, And so I'm gonna keep going. Uh, Freemason, that's a group. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Freemason before, and you find them, you find the symbols everywhere. It's subliminal. It's some people call it Illuminati or whatever. So there's in my town there's a Freemason building, like a building where they have meetings and stuff, right down the road. And there's a parking lot, and sometimes there's like a bunch of cars there, but you never see people, and it's just kind of odd. I don't know. It could be just one of those things where I'm connecting things or whatever, so I don't pay attention to it. It's just a thought, and we're allowed to have those, So, um, and I always question things, always. Um, that's how I gather information, and so it's just one of those things I do, So evil congregation, it's if they're doing this, it's evil. It's dark. It's control and the things they say, and from reading a lot of stuff from other people's movies and or videos, and what they've researched and stuff, and what they hear, it's a lot of nasty sexual stuff, and like self-harm and stuff like that. Like it's not good, and if that's what they're trying to pull off, then that's definitely evil. You really want to watch out for that, because they can influence very, very well. They're experts. So Satan's playing PlayStation with our nation, and with this program, it's like they see through your eyes. They see your brain firing. They know what you're thinking. They can make decisions for you and stuff like that if you let them. It's like them playing PlayStation, you know. Brain to brain is like the controller, and that's where they can pretty much be you. It's like a virtual reality, pretty much. And so I always call it playing the game, you know, like playing PlayStation. So uh, with our nation, you know, it's with everyone, you know, it's with everybody. Causing retardation, you know, with the food that we eat and the water that we drink, you know, it's having some repercussion on the body, you know, and with the fast foods and all that kind of stuff, we don't even know what it's made of. And so, you know, it's causing people to not think right, you know, and gain weight when they shouldn't, you know, like aspartame, it feeds free radicals. It doesn't know how to even process it because it's foreign, and it's made from E. coli virus that is uh, fed toxic waste, and it excretes a white substance called aspartame, and it tricks your brain into thinking it's sweet, you know, and so it's just a byproduct from a nasty thing, and they're feeding it to everybody, and it's in a lot of food, you know, anything diet. Uh, it's just a fake sweetener, and you want to stay away from those. I mean, that's just my opinion, but you know, and it's not good for diabetics either. You know, because if you have anything wrong with you, like a cancer or diabetes or you know anything like that, it feeds it. You know, and it's definitely not a good thing. But maybe the agenda is depopulation. We don't know. You know, we're not told anything. So let's see. Life's on repeat. Definitely. You know, it's on repeat. And with their trigger words and everything, it's repeating. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. You know, until they get to you. And rearranging our atom accumulation. You know, they're rearranging our brain. You know, the things that we absorb. You know, our bodies are changing, and it's not for the better. You know, again, this is all just a concept, and it's a poem, and it is, you know, everybody's allowed to have their own beliefs. So, you know, this is just a different concept. You know, so um, algorithm. Algorithms pretty much is what you know. All of these social platforms and uh, internet platforms that kind of watch what you're doing, and then they know what kind of stuff to pop up on your screen because that's the stuff you like, you know. So that's an algorithm, and they use it, you know, and they try to figure out what your brain's doing, and they say that they're using it for like defense or whatever for bad people, but you know when they have a good person, I feel like they're trying to change it into a bad person. So you know, to feed the system, you know. Um, Algorithm influences our decision, you know, and that's pretty much what I just explained. You know, when you get your feed, that's what you watch. So, um, walking it around like we're driven, you know, and again, it's like playing PlayStation for them. It's like, and we're driving like zombies, like oh, like we're not even driving our vessel anymore. You know what I mean? It's being driven for us. Um, it's been this way from the very beginning. You know, you can take that all the way back to like Mesopotamians, or you know, you can take it to when like these social platforms and shit like that, or stuff like that. Excuse me, stuff like that were designed. You know, and you know, so the beginning is just it's very vast. You know, it could go either way. You know, so um, reptilian shapeshifters deal in sin. Again, this is another like it's talking about aliens. You know what I mean? Shapeshifters. I know that belief is out there, and if it is, we can't see them. You know. So deal in sin, you know, and that's exactly what they're doing. You know, they're just trying to make you sin. They're trying to make you do bad things, and maybe they feed off of it. I don't know. Uh, Centrifugal force without a spin. Centrifugal force is like what the Earth does, you know, spins. And when it's not spinning, there's no life, you know. So it's like taking the life out of us, you know. And So, in this, I said, just listen. Self-explanatory. These were the words I was given. Again, this is pretty much the stuff that I was told. You know, to look up, to research, to, maybe they're trying to control my belief system. I don't know. But I have a video on how to control your belief system, and I left a lot of it open for you guys to do your own research and come up with your own idea. I'm not here to kind of influence anybody or anything like that. I just need to get my word out, because if I don't, it just stays in. I have one of those minds that just keep running and running and running, and it's hard to shut off, So, voices in our heads trying to fit in. Again, they're trying to make their voice a trusted voice, and so we don't even hear them. And once they're in, another way for them to get in. Yeah, once they're in, it's hard to get them out. You gotta pretty much tear down your house and rebuild. And that's in one of my other videos. Let's see. Stealing our perception. And, it sounds like I'm repeating myself here. It's just, I guess, other ways to say it. Our perception is ours. We're individuals. We live our own lives. We make our own decisions, supposedly. And they're trying to steal it. And it's not cool. We didn't sign anything. There's no consent form. They just do it. And that's invasion of privacy. Where in the Constitution does it say that we have to do this, or that they're even allowed to do this, So, I've got a lot of patent numbers just to prove, because somebody I know is like, I need proof, like, I don't know if this is real. Well, I looked up patents on the remote neural monitoring, and there's patents. So this technology is out there, and if you look up the patents, you can find the owners or whatever, and maybe we can send emails or something and kind of defund the program or something. And they got sponsors too, so maybe we can get a hold of the sponsors as well. If anybody wants to know those or whatever, I'd be willing to, comment them or something, but just, say something and I will. I'm not going to voluntarily just throw these out there because it might, be incriminating or whatever. So if anybody wants to know them, I've got them. Let's see. They need to be taught a lesson, and that we're not controlled with aggression. They're always using fear. They're being aggressive. They're just pushing and shoving. So. I feel, let's show them that we're not going to be pushed around. Just stand up, stand on your feet. I've always said, I don't live on my knees, I stand on my feet. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. So, I just stand a fight. But that's my concept. I'm not trying to influence anybody here. I'm not an influencer like most people on YouTube, so I'm just here to throw some information out there, I call it planting seeds, and so I just give people concepts and they grow off of it, plant their own flowers and watch them bloom. Brains are infested. Sorry, there's a train going by. Brains are infested like a parasite ingested. Parasites, that's pretty much what they are, They get inside your brain and drive you. And that's what a parasite does, is they'll get in, like, let's say, a cricket or a grasshopper or something, and they'll start controlling its brain. And when it's ready to either be released or wants out, it'll make it kill itself. It'll make it like jump into water or something like that and die, so it can get out or whatever. It's driving its vessel. Let's see. Keeping us guessing, keeping us in the system with oppression. Yeah, oppression. It's a huge thing. and it's been going on for years, probably centuries. I mean, it's just one of the things that they use, and it's depressive, or it's depressing. Uh, it's horrible. You know, we've got the ability to feed everybody, but everything's so dang expensive. You know, it's you can't afford. It's hard to even afford rent and food anymore. You have to have, you know, 2 to 3 people in a household with full-time jobs. A man can't go out and have a job and come home and support his family unless you make like $20 an hour. You know, so, and that's not right, because there's a lot of jobs out there that don't pay very much. You know, and sometimes it's the only thing that's around. And or you get put in the system, you know, and that's another thing. Once you're in the system and you get in trouble or something, it's hard to get a job, you know, and so that's how that's another form of control and fear monger, you know, because when you're hungry and can't and have the fear of uh, not being able to pay your rent or your car payment or something like that, it's, you know, you get scared, and just know that it's going to work out and just try your best. That's all you can do. Um, let's see. Investing. They're investing. You know, they've got investors. They're investing a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of, you know, probably tax dollars to do this. You know, so next line is, pyramid can heal us but won't let us in. You know, I watched like a documentary on the pyramids, and there was a room, you know, towards the bottom, I do believe, and it reflects a frequency. You know, I'm not sure how that works, but it reflects sound, and supposedly it's supposed to be able to heal pretty much anything, heal the human body. You know, let's see, using Grays like a technician to work out the glitching. If aliens were real, you know, since we don't have proof, um, if they were real and there's different species of aliens, um, my guess would be Greys, which are the ones with the big eyes and the big heads, the ones that take cows and abduct people and all that kind of stuff. Uh, I used to have this book called the Blue Book Project, and it it explains a lot about, you know, like MK Ultra and different types of aliens and stuff, and they explain, you know, their manner, the way they live, and how they treat other people and stuff, and so, or people, and they're the type that are for information. You know, they don't have emotion. They're telepathic, and they've got the big heads with big brains. You know, and they're like a technician, I think. You know, and they just that's why they're abducting people and stuff. They're kind of working out the glitches. You know, like, so what's going on? What do I need to fix? You know, so they'll abduct and be like, okay, well, this one had this or that one had that, and I fixed that one. Tell me what you think. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Um, to manipulate people into submission. And again, you know, it's just so they have it easier. You know, so we're driven easier. Um, but the stakes have risen. I figured out how to intercept their transmission to control my belief system. And I have, like I said, I have a video on belief systems. And that's where they get you, because your belief systems kind of help control, you know, because they'll go off of what you believe. And if you believe something good, then they believe that. But if you believe something bad, they believe that, you know. So pretty much what they're trying to do is be that trusted voice. And so just be very careful and learn to control your belief systems. I had to tear mine completely down, or I didn't believe in anything. Uh, and I call that tearing my house down to the foundation, you know. And then you use building blocks of information to prove to myself uh, that what I believe in is true, you know. And I'm a factual person. I need facts. I need proof, you know. So certain concepts just don't really catch my eye unless, it's interesting, something I can research, or there's physical proof, or maybe written proof, some kind of proof, So, I mean, that's what I do. Now they're pissing. I wouldn't. Oh yeah, now they're pissing. So yeah, they're pissed because they can't control me. I make my own decisions, and I use my own words. I change up my word play quite a bit. Um, I've done a lot of research on this, and supposedly, not very many people can do that. And the subconscious is one of those things that you're not supposed to be in. And uh, I feel that I have these choices on what to say or something, or how to do something, or what I'm going to do next. And I kind of run them through my head, and then I pick what I feel like doing. Well, with their influence, they're quick. They're quick to choose, and they're wrong half the time, or 90% of the time. Very seldomly they'll catch it, and they're like, what the hell? The heck is wrong with this guy? How come he's not being driven? He's making his own decisions. What the heck? And so I wouldn't be surprised if I come up missing. So this is a very touchy subject. Um, with the patents out there and seeing who owns them, there's some pretty powerful people involved. And if that ever happens, stand up for me. I'm giving you this information because I feel like it should, or it actually is public. I mean, everything I'm telling you is public. I got it all off the internet. So, and I know the internet isn't always right, but I check my facts, and you look at all the possibilities, and then you find the ones that match, and then you look those up. And then you do the same thing until you come up with one or two or whatever, just like an algorithm, So, I wouldn't be surprised if I come up missing, and that's one to remember. Remember me, cause I'm dissing. Yeah, I make fun of them. I'm condescending when it comes to them. I'm not very nice, and that's pretty much the only people or things that I'm not. They claim to be people. It's the only people I'm not nice to at all. They came and they won't go away. And they're threatening my life. They're threatening my family and all that kind of stuff. I know they're all just empty threats. Again, don't be scared. Fear is something that they feed off of, and that's why they fear monger. And about them slipping, talking to each other while I act like I'm sleeping. So before I go to bed, and when I wake up, I center myself, and then I go into a like a trance, or like I'm meditating, and my entire body relaxes, and then I kind of visualize my heart slowing down, and I control my breathing, and then I just feel myself kind of just pretty much like you're going to sleep, but you catch it. You don't go to sleep. Keep your mind awake, and that's pretty much meditation, and then that's where you have a lot more control over your brain, because your body isn't being used. So all of that brain power that's normally running your reptilian or something like that, it's not being used. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of the concept where you close your eyes and you can hear better, or taste better, or when you close your ears you can taste better or see better or whatever. It's like you take a sensor down, and the other ones are heightened. So I do that, and they think I'm sleeping, and they talk to each other, not to me, but to each other. And they say certain things like, let's run them through the simulation, Schmitty tickles, and I've explained that one in another video. They just tickle you, and you're not supposed to laugh. It's all about controlling yourself. And I heard him say it in my dream, and then when I woke up, I heard them talking about it, how I passed and didn't laugh, and they were impressed or something like that, and they were like, "Oh, he's awake, he's listening," like that kind of stuff, and it's creepy, it is creepy. But when it's going on for a year straight and they're interacting with you, answering your questions and stuff like that, it gets to the point where it's not creepy anymore. It's more like I'm just trying to dig and dig and dig and trick them, just so I can get more information so I can point my freaking finger and maybe be compensated for this. Maybe we can all be compensated for this, and that's what drives me, you know. And so let's see. Now I have the power to teach other people to devour. So that one, it sounds pretty heinous, but what I'm trying to say is uh, I'm giving this information to help people. If they're having the same problem, even if I'm wrong about the RNM and all that kind of stuff, it's still helping you control yourself. And even without this weird thing, if you're not hearing it or whatever, it's good to learn this kind of stuff. A lot of people forget that they're a living organism. We're not just human, but we have a brain and we have a body, and it needs to be fed knowledge and good food. you know and without this good food out there and this knowledge that is brainwashing, uh, sometimes you got to think outside the box. And um, that's what I'm trying to do is help people do their best, uh, without even trying. Put it in your reptilian. um, Keep your soul, get empowered. I feel like this is like stealing souls, like selling your soul to the devil or something. It's like, but without consent. um, get empowered is a line that is self wealth. See yourself as what you want to see and make it good. Be empowered, be confident. Be yourself. You shouldn't dim to fit in. You know, you're most likely a good person. I don't know anybody, so I can't call that. But I hope when you're judging yourself, you see yourself in a good light. And if you don't, I heard this concept in a song. I think it was I can't remember what song it was, but look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're a good person. And if you feel wrong or something, or if you can't smile, blow or put your breath on the mirror and draw a happy face, you know, and put your lips right where that happy face is and try to match that smile, you know. Bring your cheeks up as far as you can and just, laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at yourself. Don't don't be, dim. Don't think you're worthless or anything like that. You're worth something. You know, even if you don't have family or anything like that, you're worth something to yourself. And you deserve the best. Let's see. They're just a coward, and that's a fact. You know, um, they're all empty threats. They're triggers. That's all they are. They're just trigger words, and know your triggers. Trigger words are. I'm gonna explain that later on. Um, they can't touch you. They just get louder. Again, when I was sleeping and doing that meditation thing, they were talking, and they thought I was sleeping, and they said that there's a contract saying that they can't touch you. They can only influence. They're not allowed to do anything but influence. So just remember that and use that as like an empowering tool. Don't be scared. There's nothing gonna happen. And I'll be proof of that. Um, they can't touch you. They just get louder. Um, so when they're not getting their way, uh, for me personally, I hear this like ringing, like ee, a ringing noise, and it sounds like they're turning up the frequency, right? And it gets louder. You know, it's sometimes it sounds like someone's yelling in the other room, or like right behind you, and you're like, what the heck? You know, like, what was that? Treating you like a router. You know, it's all shot down by satellite. You know, and they use vibrations in the room, humming noises, low vibrations, and apparently this technology bypasses your ears, and that's why they use the vibration in the room, and that's why it sounds like it's coming from another room, or coming from outside, or across the yard, or whatever, is because it's from vibration, and wherever that vibration is coming from, that's where it's going to be projected. And so that's why I kind of feel like they're treating this like a router, because it's going in and then it's going back out. You know, um, food that's gone sour, you know, they treat us like garbage. You know, like we're nothing. Like we don't need to sign a consent form. We're theirs. You know, we're owned. No, that's not true. Apparently, it's in the Constitution, right? Well, maybe that's a joke. I have no idea. You know, think about that one. That one's something that I think everybody needs to talk about. Our human needs and human rights are being, you know, it's being messed up. And I'm gonna go to the next one. The knowledge that we know cannot be towered. And once we know about this, it's wide out. It's right out in the open. It's like wide receiver. You know, throw that freaking knowledge ball, um, and there's no one there to tackle you. You know, because it's extremely, you know, it's a lot easier that way. And just knowing and being empowered. Plant the seed and watch it flower. And when with that one, it's just, you know, think about it, see where it takes you. Come up with your own perspective on the subject. I'm not saying any of this is real. Like I said, this is just a concept, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But this is my way of dealing with it, you know. So this kind of helps me. I don't know if it'll help you, but try it. You know, who knows? Um, they will trigger your subconscious for an hour. Yeah, they'll say the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and until you say it. And once it becomes a thought to an action, that's where it starts getting stored in your brain, and it starts connecting neurons, you know, in your brain, and that's pretty much what addiction is too. And your brain can get addicted to listening to them, and it has happened to me once before, and I couldn't even have a conversation with somebody. I was sitting there listening to them and replying in my head, and they're like, "Are you even listening to me?" And so, you know, it took a long time to pull out of that, and you know, it's very addicting, and I believe that it's addicting for them as well. You know, that they can't get enough, and that's why they're there 24/7. You know, and for me, it's different people. Not always. I mean, the same ones always come back, but it's almost like they have shift change. You know, and they'll talk and be like, you know, so what's he doing today? What's the triggers today? Um, and I'm completely random, so it's really hard for them to keep track. And that's pretty much one of the tools I use is randomness. And right before I say something, I'll change the word. And so I've used double meanings, so I can explain something in two different ways. I'm trying to teach myself triple meaning, and so I can use it in three different ways because my double meanings are getting stale, you know, and so I just need to switch it up. You know, once you know two, you might as well learn one more, right? Um, and plus, it's good for the brain. You know, it's good to learn. You know, it's like flexing a muscle. You know, or lifting weights. You know, your brain is a muscle. You know, it's it can grow not in like size, but the knowledge inside, and it can fire in different areas that you've never fired before, or like fire together or whatever. You have different hemispheres in your brain, and if you practice, you get better, you get smarter. That's how you get smarter, and it's always healthy to do that. Um, make you feel so wrong you'll want to take a shower, and that's pretty much what it is. Some of the things I've heard other people say about what they hear, it's pretty bad, like self-harm, or, like this one guy said, it's just nothing but sexual stuff, and he doesn't know where it comes from, and he's not like that, but it's just trying to get him to be that way, and it'll make you want to take a shower, like, oh, get this stuff off me, get this out of me, um, even though your thoughts are clean, and that's pretty much what I explained. Good people, good people are being triggered, and with bad things, and I believe maybe they're trying to create bad people. Um, you're a human being, and that's a fact. We're just human, and we do make mistakes, but we can fix them. And I know I said that already, but why not say it twice? You know, um, Pay attention to your dreams. Know how to interpret. I believe that your dreams, they show your worst fears and your fantasies and what's, stuff that's gone through your day or week, or, what's on your mind. And there's little subliminal messages in there, so if you can see your dreams or remember them, practice remembering them. Write them down. I write everything down. So, it's good to not think about it and come back and then try to remember it, and maybe you'll see something different. Maybe you can look around or something in the memory or something like that. And that's one thing that you want to pay attention to, and try to interpret, like, I wonder what that meant. And then you just start saying words. Like, one time I saw, um, let's say, like a flying bus. There was a flying bus, and there's people in it, and there's like green, red, and yellow lights in it. And it flew over a city, and then all the people just kind of were conveyed down to a building, and they were just like they were still sitting in their seats, but they were being conveyed down. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this in a dream or something. If you have, please comment. Uh, if I might make a video on nothing but dreams, and the types of dreams I've had and what goes on in them, and hopefully maybe somebody can match that, because I kind of believe that they're using these like simulations to test people's subconscious and question them. And so uh, I want to see if anybody else is experiencing the same thing. And if we can do that, it pretty much becomes a fact, between us. But, it's not hearsay anymore. So, let's see. It will tell you everything. And know your triggers. And I was going to say something about it earlier, but I knew this line was in here. So, know your triggers. Your triggers are very important. When they say a word or a phrase, or pretty much a word or a phrase, it triggers thought, thought processes, and they could be anything, and they could be fake, they could be real, and it depends on like how you lived your life, how you, did everything. And just saying trigger words, it brings up a lot of thought, of me standing there thinking, and it's very important to know your triggers. Maybe you see a candy bar and it reminded you of, Halloween last year when somebody stole all your candy or something, you know what I mean? And what you do is when it triggers you in a negative way, you think about it and you repeat it to yourself and attach it to another picture, and think about it really hard, and you can change it, and you can change it in a negative way as well, or you can change it to a positive thing, and if it's not real at all, then do what you want with it, but try to make it positive. You know, and let's see. I can go on for days about that. And with certain triggers, I've messed with them so much. It's getting to the point where it's almost fun, just because you're training your brain. You know what I mean? And with this program or whatever, that's what they go off of. So if you could mess around and create some stuff or whatever, they believe what you believe, and that goes along with your belief systems. So let them feed off the stuff that's not true. That's what I do. Uh, let's see. That's what makes you either small or bigger. You know, uh, is knowing your trigger. You can stand tall, with knowing your triggers, and you can be small with not knowing your triggers. Um, See, like right now, just saying triggers brings me back to the other night when I used the situation in my head and totally switched it up. And I drank a bunch of coffee, and I got my heart rate going, and they thought I was like lying or scared or something like that. It was pretty funny. Um, but this whole thing isn't funny. Like, it's not a funny thing. It's very serious. Um, be a listener. Uh, Sometimes listen to yourself. Listen to your thoughts. Do you hear your own voice when you think, or is it just a thought? Do you see words when you think? If you hear your own voice, test it. Like I said, switch your word right at the last minute and think of another word. Like, say, like I was gonna say triggers, but instead of triggers, I say wig splitters or something like that. And then you stop and listen. And if you still hear triggers, you might want to pay attention to that. Um, and possibly listen for expression changes, especially when they lose that. And that's one of the things that you really want to pay attention to, and that's what I mean by be a listener. And listen to yourself. Listen to your inner voice, like the one that you feel, not the one that you hear, but the one that you feel. Call them out and be a whistler. When they do it, be like, "What are you doing? Who was that?" And sit there and keep doing it. And every time they do it, make fun of them. Be condescending. You know, be mean. Um, you don't deserve it. You know. So they see all your thoughts when you think, and that's true. They see your pictures, they see your words, uh, they see through your eyes. You can be looking at one thing, but they can see everything around it, like they're seeing through a computer monitor. And if you look up what it is, the RNM, um, they see a computer screen with words, and then with the brain to brain, they see through your eyes, and but they can look anywhere and everywhere, or maybe it's all on a computer. They see brain firing. Um, it's pretty much like a lie detector test, and that's why I use coffee too, to just mess with them. Because at this point, it's I've just turned it into me pointing them out, and just being like, "You're wrong. You're so wrong." You know, uh, make it a happy thing. Don't be scared. Don't be mad. Don't be sad. Make it a happy thing. Have that confidence. Get empowered. You know what I mean? Let's see. They see through your eyes when you blink. Okay, so that's already said. They speak about the wobble. This is one thing that is kind of new. Um, uh, for some reason, when I used the word centrifugal force, they told me to look it up, and pretty much when I looked it up, it was something about the Earth, and then how the things behave in space um, when it spins, you know, and there's a weight difference. It flips every 2.5 spins or whatever. Well, actually, that's a photon, or yeah, that's a no, not a photon. One of the light spectrums or something like that inside of a photon. But anyways, it when it behave the way it behaves is it spins and then flips and then spins and then flips, and that's what they call the pole flip. And there's the weight difference. I believe is the ice caps. They're melting. Maybe that's why we're tilting. We're going on a tilt, right? And it's just about to go and flip. And they speak about that a lot. You know, um, I want to build a house that's like underground with a house on top, but I want like 3 or 4 floors under the ground. And they talk about building my house. Like, you need to build that house. You need to build that house. And I don't got no money to build this house. You know what I mean? I don't have the means to do it. Got the ability, but I don't have the means. Um, and the world's gonna flip. That's what I just said. So kind of look into that. That's something we need to think about. That's gonna be a catastrophic event. It's gonna be. I don't like using this word because it's one of those words that are triggers on YouTube. But epic. But that's a very good word to use when it comes to that. Um, let's see. Play you like a toggle. Again, like PlayStation. Like they're steering you with the toggle switch. Um, make you disappear like a photon blip. Um, photons. Some of the photons or light spectrums or yeah photons. They appear and then they, right? They're gone because they're so small. The smaller you get, the shorter the lifespan is. The bigger you get, the longer. Um, so they're so small that they just disappear in just like a blink of an eye. And, you know, um, that's what the photon blip is, or to me. I may not be completely right, but, this is my concept. This is my brain. This is how I want to believe it. I'm going to back up a little bit. Um, what was I going to say? Oh well, I'm gonna keep going. Jaw dropping again, right? Cheers. Cheers your glass and take a sip. You know, do it, man. Cheers. Enjoy life. There's no reason why, even if it's just water, who cares? Enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts, because we don't know how long it's gonna be until it bottlenecks. And that's what I was gonna say. When I wanted to back up, I was gonna say the flip. It's done it before. I do believe there's been 6 other flips, and every so many years, like 26,000 years, we're at what 2021. You know what I mean? Like there's like maybe 600 years or something like that, maybe less. Because time is different over time, like the way we tilt and the way we spin and all that kind of stuff. That's where pretty much time comes from. Around the sun and the way we spin around the sun. Um, so take a sip. You know, drink it. Uh, if you hear him like me, you're on the list. And they talk about a list. Take him off the list. He's a good person. Take him off the list. But they never take me off the list. It's like almost they're trying to trigger me into being a bad person, so I stay on the list. I believe that once you're on the list, you're on the list. They don't take you off. And so we got to find a way to beat them. And this is how I'm doing it. It's talking to you, getting the information out there, and maybe they will take me off the list. They will take everybody off the list. Who knows? Um, Last road R&M, and that's where I believe it all lies. And it could be all lies. Who knows? Maybe everything on the internet's not real. Who knows? Maybe, like I said, it could be a simulation. And there's been pretty brilliant minds out there that claim that this could be a simulation, like 1 in a trillion freaking chances that it's not a simulation. And if it is, then that's why your dreams are so entertaining. Because a simulation inside of a simulation, it gets better as it goes into simulations. as you go out, it gets more boring. And I heard that from Musk. I don't like to like really name drop too much, but that was something he said. I don't want to say that was my concept, um, but it's a good one. It must be pretty boring on the outside of the simulation because why are we in it? Maybe it was created just for their fun, and because we're being observed, and that's like a double split experiment. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a double split experiment, but it goes in with observing photons, and when they're observed, they behave differently, and maybe and with laws of attraction, that's where you can look at something and focus on it. And since you're watching it, you can maybe lean it to the left and like an hourglass. And the sand will, or ball bearings, they'll literally start falling to the left or right. Um, it's it's pretty interesting, and it kind of shows that we have more power than we think. And it's like I had a concept the other day. It's like a fan, like those fans that you blow, like you can make out of paper. You fold in different ways, and you fan your face with it. It's like a fan. You observe this photon, or you observe your life. I'll make it life. You observe your life, and when you observe your life, uh, you're looking at all the things that you've done, what you want to do, the choices you can make. Um, so the handle of the fan is your change. It's the beginning, right? And when you make this change, when you're observing it, once you make that change, it makes a ripple, right? And that's the ripple in the fan. Well, after you make that change, everything's going to change after that, and it'll fan out, and that's creating different types of choices, different roads you can take, good or bad events happening. That's why they say if you can travel back in time, you don't change anything because it can make a ripple or fan out and change something in the future, and it could be catastrophic. So um, that's pretty much like my representation of like observing photons and stuff like that into uh, being a human and observing your life. We have the ability to minutely change a situation to make it better in the future. And if we all did that at least once a day, things will get better. If you just make that one little change in the future, things will be great. Well, maybe not great, but it'll be better. You know, um, and with more than one person doing that, that's like a congregation or like what's it called, uh, collective or something like that. It's like a collection, and I believe when we're together, we're stronger. And so that's why some cultures they get together and they form in one group and they all move together like a rhythm, and they all chant the same thing and they think the same thing, and that is a lot stronger. It's almost like sending a giant signal out to the universe. And I mean, I can sit here and talk all day, but it's been an hour, and I'm not looking to waste anybody's time. And I know when people see, oh, an hour video, geez, with this guy talking, yeah, I can see how I'd get boring. I'm not really that entertaining. I'm pretty monotone, but yeah, I just hope that I had interesting things for you to listen to, maybe some concepts to look at. Maybe it'll excite your brain a little bit and get you to learn some things maybe that you didn't know, or maybe I did say something that you learned today. And one thing is, learn something new every day. Don't stay in a rut. Um, Try to expand your mind. Um, those are all good things. So I'm gonna call it good, and I hope if somebody comments, I hope it's positive this time because the last guy was pretty rude. Uh, he made fun of the mask I wear, and how I liked my videos. I do like them. They're positive, and once you get that like going, it kind of sends them on other people's pages and stuff. And I don't really care if people like my videos. Uh, just like to throw the information out there. And if somebody does like them and they want to watch them, that's great. I'll keep doing it. Um, I only put them out just a few days ago, and I've got a few already going. A few views. Um, but it's just one of those things. It is what it is. So. And he called me a perp, like a perpetrator, like I could be one of them or whatever. Well, why would one of them be telling you this? It's like maybe you're one of them, trying to put me down, trying to, get other people to follow him because they know what I'm saying is true, or maybe it's not. Who knows? I don't have full proof. I've only got like patents, you know. Uh, Patent numbers and stuff like that, and the only proof I have is what was given to me, So I'm gonna call it good. I hope you guys have a good day or night. I'm Rickles. Namaste.